Alright, we brought this in. We're getting ready to set up and do our welding. Those two slugs build up this diameter here around the outside. And when you look straight down at it, you can see that that's the center of the hole. And we just want enough meat out here to resemble like the meat that's around the original one. So this is a pretty good healthy boss. So basically probably 2-3 beads out around here. We're going to blend those beads into the shape of this. So everything's got a nice round smooth radius and everything else right in this area right here. And of course these two here will get poked down into that so that this side is flush with the other side. And it can even have a little bit of protrusion because we're going to face off the other side parallel to this outside diameter here. Now before we do anything here, I just spotted this here and I kind of loosened it up already. And this is the pivot bushing ball. I don't know the technical term for it, but it is the support for the throttle arm for the clutch. It controls the throw-it bearing, collapse the clutch disc and all that good stuff. And it's got a plastic, nylon, Delrin, or some kind of non-metal surface on it. And I want to pull this out of here so heat doesn't destroy it. You know, it's really a shame that this wasn't cleaner as far as welding going, but I'm going to get the areas that I need to work with really clean. Well, that's a long-winded thing. I could have had a socket on here, I guess, but I thought it would screw out by hand. I wasn't really sure how long it was going to take just to unscrew this thing. Alright, and it gets a washer. So it's just basically a nylon ball there where it pivots on. That's just a post. Almost looks like a pawn in a chess game. Alright, I got a couple different tips, rotary burrs and disc and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to get in here and I'm just cleaning off the surface here. I don't really have to take too much material off of here just to get down to fresh material. So this has got a nice little radius and it kind of looks like the surfaces I'm working down in here. That goes in there real nice into the bottom. So just like that, I'm just going to make it all nice and clean back away from my weld, probably about 2 or 3 times the width of the weld that I plan on putting on here. This 3/8 ball, cross-cut bit works almost exclusively for everything here. Okay, I'm just angling that right there because I'm going to be able to fill some of that in. This will be filled in from the side and bring that around. This will be full weld around the bottom there, and I've already prepped my plugs here on the outside edge here. Alright, so we pretty well got this pretty well clean. I'm going to hit this with a little bit of a disc on the outside here, just to bring it more brilliance. Clean material. Just real light, I'm not trying to dig in anywhere. Okay, I think we're ready to grab our torch for preheating. We'll set up our heliac welding, and we'll get ready to put it together. Alright, I played around with a couple combinations here, and I found that this is about what I'm going to do here to handle, so I tighten it up here. Alright, I took a piece of box tube and I just kind of went across this space so that I had a level surface with that. I was going to lay it on the table, but you never know what actually is going to happen. Heat's going to lift or whatever, and I want to make sure that they're at least, I know that they're close to that surface back there. And I put the 2 slugs in, and then I took 2 clamps, and I'm actually holding those down to the box tube this direction here. Now I can have this thing up on its edge here to where I'm comfortable, and then I'm going to be able to roll this thing around kind of like this, and I'm going to be able to sit here and I'm going to be comfortable. The most important thing about doing any welding is being comfortable. And I think I got something going on here that I'm going to be real comfortable with. I'm going to put a couple tacks to hold these slugs in where I want, and then I'll be able to pull this off, and then I'll have full openness in here, and then I'm going to be rotating it around. I'm going to go find me a heavy piece of steel to where I can put it down here so that it actually holds the belt. There's an angle all the way around, so I'll be able to hold the bell housing like a clock and rotate it somewhat like this. This is my plan anyway. And I might have to put a block or something on the back side of the table so it leans against once in a while, but we'll see what's going on and how we do from here. So that's the plan. All right, we're going to go ahead and preheat this. We're just going to warm it up a couple hundred degrees so that the whole thing is somewhat warm, and it's not going to be as much of a shock to actually become molten in one area and create stresses. That's the purpose of preheating in most parts. All right? Now, we're not chasing cracks or anything else, and everything is a round, smooth item. So I don't really foresee, because there are other reasons why you want to preheat and expand everything so that cracks and if you start preheating, you don't hear the phone ring. with the preheat here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw a blanket around this, and this is just basically just so that the heat is just not just flying away. And I'm going to go ahead and we're going to reach in here and get a couple good tacks on here, and then we can get our clamps out of the way, and then we can go ahead and work this thing in a rotating fashion here. Grounding problem, put a ground clamp on it. It's a nice sign when you're first doing your tacks, and you can see that you actually got some really good material to work with, and it takes right to it. Came in here with a root pass, and I slowly built this in. Now this last pass right out here, I just wanted to roll that radius out to the plate back here, and then I kind of did the same thing out here. Now I'm all happy and content that I've brought out material to make contact out there. Now I came in, brought in this lower one, washed it over with that. Now we're going to go ahead and bring a couple right here to just make this hump. Give us some material on this side that's shallow on that, where we want that thread to come through. And we're giving a little wire brush in between, because as you're welding cast material, it does tend to want to bring some of the impurities out. Even though I've etched it with the rotary burr there, you still have some stuff that floats around on it. we'll just work a couple beads right on up over and build this material right up here. Now we're going to rotate this around just a little bit. Okay, just a little bit on this leading edge right here, just so that that doesn't come down and make like a little scallop right there. We want that to roll all the way around. Okay, I think we got enough built up around this outside here to create enough strength on that wall for the threads. So I'm happy with that. So we're going to go over to this one here. Alright, I'm happy with the material that we added around both of those. And now we're going to go ahead and roll this around. And we're going to go ahead. I think I might actually lay this down flat so that I can go right around it. I can just spin this thing around and get around each one of those slugs there. And then we're going to take a look at it and see if we're going to want to bridge it to the other section of the slugs or not. What happens when a customer comes in and takes your helmet off? Okay, we're going to have to get a real skinny cup to get into this area right here because I'm having a problem with the area on the back side. And I think we're going to pitch this up a little bit. Our counterweight here. And stick out and get down in here, and I think this is a number 5 tip. 332 tungsten is what I've been using. And I got like 250 amps or so, and I'm using 4340. And I possibly can get in that tight spot. This will be the tightest spot. The other one's a little more out in the open. Made it around the corner. It's almost out. I've got to stick my tungsten there. It is tight. Alright, all the way around on that one. Damn, I'll leave this right in this position right here and come right up over the top of that, the left hand fashion here. How much stick out I got here on this rod here. A little bit too much here. I'm going to see if I can put on my short stem there, see if it'll help me out at all. Alright, somewhere I have a button cap that I can't find that one, so I'm going to go ahead and go in. I think I'm going to be able to get it in here. Success. Okay, we got our first round bead all the way around, continuous. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of buildup so we can get a little bit more strength side to side. We have penetration that's been coming around here and here. I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish off this side here real quick. Alright, we're set up on the front side here, or the mating side. I'm going to go ahead and put a bead around on this side now. I almost dipped it in here really good, but luckily it self-cleaned itself. I was able to keep going there. Nice gloss ball on there. In that little valley, so we got some pretty good flat surfaces there. I'm almost wondering if we need to go much more than what we actually have right now. Take another look at our other side here.